If you are an English language learner, I'm sure you relate to this. So, in the beginning of a year, people make plans that I want to learn this skill by the end of the year, or I want to build this habit, or I want to land my dream job or my dream client. But we English learners always aspire to achieve our dream level. So let's say I have B2 level and I am going to aim that by the end of the year, I want to reach to C1 level or C2 level, right? Now, in order to reach to that level, you must make plans. You must follow a strategic routine that will help you to reach to that point, whatever you have set for yourself. So, like any other year, this year I have made a resolution plan that I want to reach to C1 level because I think I have got stuck at B2 level and I have been stuck here for so long. But this time I decided that I am going to create a routine that is going to be sustainable and realistic so that I do not feel overwhelmed and I do not feel pressure that I have to do this and that. Because when you have that kind of pressure that you have to do it at any cost, you start hating the process. But this time I just decided that I'm going to focus on improving my English without making it overwhelming. This is one of the things I have mentioned in almost every single video that if you want to learn English faster in a short period of time, then you must focus on four aspects of the language: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. So that's why I made a routine that includes all these four steps, and all of them are going to be realistic so that I do not fail to achieve my desired outcome. So let's start with reading. So, since I already know that I'm someone who loves to read, and this is one of the steps that gives me the best result, that's why I focused on reading as much as I can. Because whenever I read, I mainly pay attention to sentences and it helps me to get clear on the fundamentals and foundations, as well as it also enhances my vocabulary so that I get better at it. When it comes to reading, a lot of people go wrong with it. A lot of people have been asking me this question that what to read, which book will help me to improve my English. Just suggest me some books so that I can get better at it. So please, you have to understand this very well that no matter what you're reading, it will help you to improve your English. That could be any book, that could be any articles, that could be even newspapers. So don't really worry about what book you should be reading, or don't focus on buying every single books people are suggesting you that just buy this book, read it and it will improve your English. No, anything can improve your English if you are doing it on daily basis. Even if you're reading your textbooks, if you are reading any articles, if you are reading the newspapers you have got, that will help you to improve your English. So don't run behind this so-called mindset that okay, I'm gonna read this book and it's gonna change my English, it will make me fluent, because it is not going to work. When I'm talking about reading, there is one more essential step I would like to add up, and it's something will certainly help you to improve your English faster. That whenever you are picking anything to read, that could be any book, that could be any article, make sure that it is slightly difficult and challenging to you. Now, what I mean by that, whenever you put yourself in uncomfortable situations and whenever you do those activities that are not familiar to you, you're more likely to grow faster. You're going to learn a lot of new things, and when you do it regularly, like over and over again, things get fixed in your mind and you are going to speak this language faster. For example, I'm someone who has, I think, B2 level and I'm aiming to achieve C1 level. Now, what I do, I always focus on reading something that is slightly difficult and complex to me. So recently I got a book called The 48 Laws of Power. I don't know anybody has read that book or not. But if you have, then I'm sure you do understand that it contains a lot of advanced words. And I am someone who was not really familiar with them. So when I got to know about these things, I decided to take up this challenge that I am going to read everything because it will help me to learn new vocabulary, as well as it will also make me understand that how to construct these complex sentences. Another thing I would like to include that never ever worry about how many pages you should be reading every single day or how many hours or minutes you should be dedicating to read books or read anything. Because first of all, it's up to you. But make sure that the more you do, the better it will be. So to me, I think the ideal time or the ideal page would be like if you are looking at the page, then 10 pages a day is pretty much enough. And if you are focusing on reading according to the time, then 25 to 30 minutes is perfect. I think if you are following this routine every single day, you're good to go. Nobody can stop you to become fluent in this language. Another most important step I cannot forget to talk about is listening or watching. So I am someone who always prefers listening over watching because watching is one of the steps that divides my attention. Whenever I'm watching something, the effects, musics, and all the extra background, clips that always catch my attention, and I will get so lost in them that I forget to listen. So I always focus on listening podcast or listening to something that is more about any valuable information and that is going to be raw so that I don't get lost in unnecessary stuff. Another thing I have been focusing on lately is listening actively. So what I mean by listening actively is whenever you are listening, don't commute, don't just work out, don't walk, don't do anything that catches your attention and basically that divides your attention. Whenever you are listening, just sit in a peaceful place so that you can focus on everything. You can absorb the words and sentences that have been said. Because if you do it in this way, if you are focusing on active listening repeatedly, things will ingrain in your mind naturally. And if you do it over and over again, then who can stop you to learn this language and become fluent in this language? Now, my ideal time for listening is 40 to 50 minutes. But if I got caught up in the conversation and if I'm liking it and I do have a little bit of extra time, then I will be listening to it for more than that. But if I am not enjoying the conversation or if I'm feeling lethargic, then I only focus on 30 minutes. So I think 30 to 45 minutes in between is pretty much enough and it will help you to just get better at this language faster. The most awaited step is speaking. I know you have a lot of questions related to speaking, that what to speak, how to practice, which topic should I speak, and the most important one is who to practice with. I know. Okay, so I think speaking is one of the steps that is the most essential, but it is not as complicated as we think. Now, you may be wondering that, oh, you're saying this because you are able to speak this language. See, I've been there where you are right now. I know how it feels. So the only thing I would say that no matter how you're speaking, no matter how many mistakes you're making, just keep practicing because this is the only way. I know a lot of people say that, hey, this is the secret to become fluent in English. But trust me, there's no secret. I mean, you can think of it. If you are doing something over and over again, you are naturally going to be good at it. You don't need any secret. It just needs repetition, right? I remember back then, instead of worrying about who to speak with, because I think I have mentioned this in my videos so many times that I had no one to speak with. I still do not have anybody around me with whom I can practice. But still, I keep practicing. I don't know how I do it. Most of the time, I talk to myself. I literally talk as if somebody's sitting next to me, somebody's listening to me. And that's how I started when I was a complete beginner. I just used to utter sentences. I used to utter words that never made sense to me initially. But still, I kept going on, and that's how you have to do it. The ideal time for speaking is 45 to 60 minutes. I know you are busy, you have a lot of things to get done, and you can't make time. I totally understand. But trust me, if you want to get result, you will have to do it, right? I know that sometimes it gets overwhelming, but still you have to make an effort. If you are not able to speak for 45 minutes, just try to speak at least for 30 minutes. And it should never be a problem that who to speak with. Because first of all, you have yourself. You have got your back, right? You can talk to yourself. You can talk in front of mirror. You can record yourself, and I think nowadays a lot of people have been using different applications. There are many applications that are free and available. So you could use them and practice with strangers and improve your English. And yeah, how can I forget about writing? From the time I made a video that I write at least 15 to 20 pages every single day, I have got a lot of questions from you that what exactly you write and what exactly you do that made you write that page. Okay, so first of all, let me make this point very clear that I do not write any specific thing. I'm not writing a book at all. I just write random stuff. Basically, I would say that I focus on storytelling. So I have been writing, creating as many things as I can, but I write random stuff most of the time. Now, you do not necessarily have to write 15 to 20 pages. I mean, you don't need to do that at all. Because if you're just starting out, writing even 10 lines or just one page is pretty much enough, and it does not require much time, as well as it does not have to be perfect. Because I know you think that I am not good at writing, so I'm not going to write it because who is going to correct my mistakes? But you don't need to worry about your mistakes right now, because with time you are automatically going to acknowledge, not acknowledge, recognize your mistakes, that what are the things you should not be writing and how to just correct this word, how to correct the sentence. So it happens naturally. In my opinion, writing 10 lines or even one page does not consume much time. I mean, it hardly takes 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm sure if you are someone who is passionate about learning this language and want to become fluent in English, you are going to focus on it. Because see, I know that writing is one of the steps that is underrated. Nobody really pays enough attention to it. But if you are someone who is struggling to speak, writing is one of the steps that is going to cure this problem, that is not being able to speak properly, or whenever you try to speak you get stuck. If you are someone who has been writing repeatedly, this problem will automatically be solved and you will be easily able to speak English whenever you want. So this is how I have been focusing on these four aspects to improve my English in 2025. But you have to remember one thing, that if I'm following certain rules or certain routines or whatever schedule, you don't have to do the same thing, because my schedule is completely different from yours. You might be busier than me or you might have more time than me. So just focus on that and just set everything accordingly. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you get some information and learn something, and I will be back very soon with an amazing content. Bye bye.